What is going on, family? Welcome to another great episode of the Arrington Gavin Show. This is a show where we discuss trending news and thought-provoking topics from the fields of politics, sports, pop culture, and so much more. Look, excited to be with you on this great day. I hope you all are having an awesome weekend. Uh, we'll eventually have a great weekend as well. Uh, back in the I guess the regular studio. This is kind of like the regular studio. Last episode I was over at the home studio. It was a lot of it was a busy week. I mean, your boy's a busy man, but I can't complain. I'm fortunate to be busy. There's some people like are saying, I wish I could be busy. I wish I had business and this and that and the other. Well, look, your boy's been working, hustling out there, and I am just I'm excited. I'm excited uh to be busy. Shout out to all you supporters out there that continue to tune into the Arrington Gavin show. I thank you. This show comes to you with new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time via podcast. So wherever you get your podcasts, you can check out new episodes. Will drop Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 10 a.m. Whether it's iHeart, Spotify, Apple, Odyssey, wherever you listen to your podcast, you can tune in. So many platforms you can tune into the show. All you have to do is just type in either the Arrington Gavin Show, or you can type in our network, or excuse me, our hub, our Smooth Club Media. You'll find us from there. Also, if you prefer to watch the video version of this show, this podcast, you can do so by tuning in on those exact same days, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. As you see scrolling down at the bottom, new video episodes will drop at 5 p.m. on those days on our YouTube channel, our Smooth Club Media, on Facebook at our Smooth Club Podcast, on Rumble at the Arrington Gavin Show. Let's see where else. On X, on our Smooth Club Media, or RSC Media. And also you can check out reruns of this show every Saturdays and Sundays at 7 p.m. on ESPTV. Okay, ESPTV on Facebook and ErnestSmithProductions.com. That's right, y'all. ErnestSmithProductions.com. Also, you can check out our website. It's a work in progress website. As you know, grassroots. Okay, until I start making that money. Um, until then, the website is, like I said, is a work in progress. The Arrington Gavin website, Arrington Gavin Show, www.arringtongavinshow.com. You can check out that is up and running. Very excited about that. Let's get it going with the show, y'all. A lot of stuff we're going to be discussing today. Rob Marciano, he's a meteorologist. He's very known of being a meteorologist for Good Morning America, as well as working with ABC News. He recently, it was announced that he was fired. So it's a lot of stuff happening with that. We're going to get in the impact on the gist of things or with that story. Also, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he made a pretty he made a big hire for his campaign. Continue to add more people because, hey, he is really the front runner, third party candidate, and so he's trying to bring all the heavy hitters, anything that he needs to do to get himself in that seat on the ballots in all 50 states. So I'll talk about that as well. Mike Tyson, as you know, he's coming out of retirement to fight Jake Paul, famous YouTuber, and somewhat of a professional boxer. I won't go that far, to be honest, but he's had sanctioned pro bouts. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And also a known podcaster, professor, I believe his name is Steve Galloway. I know it's I think it is. Let me get his first name so I can make sure I'm not saying it incorrectly. My apologies. He is the co-host of the Pivot podcast. He has yes. Let's see. What is this man's name? Scott Galloway. My apologies. Scott Galloway. He's the co-host of Pivot podcast, and he's a professor, very intelligent guy. He's normally seen a lot on liberal outlets, MSNBC, CNN. Very smart, intelligent guy. You should check out his most recent episode on Real Time with Bill Maher. It was pretty dope. Him and Don Lemon were all up there. But he recently was on News Nation speaking with Elizabeth Vargas, and they were discussing how young adults face unprecedented challenges compared to previous generations. Basically, meaning why are young people aren't proud to be Americans? So I just thought that was quite of interesting, uh, something to chat about here on the show. Yeah, so we got a lot to discuss. Again, shout out to our supporters here. You see this lovely bottle, Ingenious Gin. It's a black owned, military owned, black owned, veteran owned spirit company. It's a great spirit, man. If you are a gin connoisseur and really just a gin explorer, it's a great drink. It's a great you can make great cocktails with it. It's so dope. For more information, go to ingenioussgin.com and you can find where you can grab a bottle of this amazing gin. Also, shout out to Rugged Evolution Beard Care. It's a all natural facial hair care, skin care line. For more information about them, you can check out ruggedevo.com. Okay, enough with all that stuff. Let me go ahead on and let's see. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. Where is my notes at, man? I feel like I just had them. Let's talk about this fight with Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Okay, let's talk about it, fellas. Let's talk about it. Let me go ahead and bring up the graphic so I can step up my game with you guys. Here we go. That's what I want. All right. So recently, the fight was just sanctioned between, well, it was announced not too long ago that Mike Tyson and, you see it right there, Mike Tyson and Jake Paul will be fighting. Now Jake Paul is a known public figure, not really in sport, not really in boxing, but as a YouTuber. He's the brother of Logan Paul. I believe Logan was the oldest. He started first doing crazy stupid stuff on YouTube. It garnered a lot of views. It garnered millions of views. Basically became self-made millionaires because of that. And then later on you will see them participate in like these kind of like celebrity bouts, in my opinion, because it was just like, oh, whatever happened to that guy, whatever happened to such and such and such and such. So they started doing these bouts, fighting known figures. And Jake has fought. He started off fighting Nate Robinson, former NBA star Nate Robinson. He's fought Anderson the Spider Silva, Deontay Wilder, I believe. Did he fight? No, was it? Did he fight Deontay Wilder? He fought. I'm gonna say, I think he had like 8 fights. I know he had one with Nate Robinson, which was trash because for one, it was a huge size difference, and it just it did not make any sense for them to even, really even have that fight. I mean, yeah, Nate's in amazing shape, but that doesn't mean that, okay, this guy should be, professional boxer. So, or compete in a boxing match. Jake is 27 years old. He's fought a total of, it says here, 10 total fights. He's fought Nate Robinson, former MMA star Ben Askren, which again, that was another one. Tyron Woodley twice, Anderson Silva, and then Nate Diaz. And also professional boxer Andrea August and Ryan Borland. So you can kind of say he's had some fights with, I guess, professional boxers, not really well known. He also fought Tommy Fury, lost in a split decision with that. And see, a lot of the fights he was involved in were like these, they were like pay-per-view, but it was just almost like, okay, this is going to bring a lot of attraction. Of course, they gas up the press and all the publicity, the trash talking on social media, whatnot, press conference, the whole 9 yards. But recently it was announced that he and Mike Tyson, Hall of Fame, known as the guy that bit uh bit Evander Holyfield's ear off, but he was also a badass fighter, Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, that Mike Tyson, that they were gonna be fighting on Netflix on a live event. Now, this event is happening June 20th. It's between the YouTuber turned prize fighter Jake Paul and former heavyweight boxing champion Mike Tyson. This has been classified as a professional fight by the Texas Department of License and Regulation, which means that this heavyweight showdown will contest over 8 2-minute rounds, and each fighter using 14 ounce gloves. Now, the outcome will affect their professional records as well. So if Mike Tyson loses, okay, if one of the other guys loses, that will go on their professional record. Now, Mike Tyson, the last fight he had, and it wasn't even a professional fight, it was an exhibition. It was with Ron it was with the Jones. Yeah, Roy Jones. And both of them were honestly about around the same age. Again, it was an exhibition. They weren't supposed to be taken seriously. The last fight he had was in 2020. And it was, yes, against Roy Jones Jr. in an 8-round exhibition fight. Mixed martial arts coach, that says right here, was selected as Tyson's trainer, corner, yada yada yada. The bout was officially sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission. Was initially scheduled to take place September 20th. Yada yada. I'm trying to see the outcome. The fight was declared a draw. The fight was a split draw, and the 3 judges scored the fight as follows. Yes. So it really didn't affect either of the legends' record. Now, Mike Tyson fought a total of 58 fights. Okay, 58 fights, 50 wins, 6 losses. But again, that was in 2020. Mike Tyson is currently at the age of 57, and Jake Paul is 27. Now, honestly, guys, I'll be honest. I think this is going to be a waste of time kind of fight. Yeah, it's going to bring all the attraction, and everybody's anticipating is Mike Tyson going to be for real fighting? Likewise with Jake Paul, are they both going to just kind of like act it out? In a sense, how serious can people tolerate or take this fight? That's kind of like the big thing. How realistic can people really take this fight? And I have really I've seen most of Jake Paul's fights. And honestly, they have not been satisfying. I remember when I saw him fighting Anderson the Spider Silva, who I'm a huge fan of in the MMA world. Anderson Silva is known for MMA. Yeah, the guys might have had maybe 2 to 3 professional boxing matches in their lifetime, maybe kickboxing, but they're not boxers. They're not true boxers. Again, a lot of these fights have been a size advantage. And then a lot of these guys are people that haven't got big payouts. So they said, hey, look, I'll play along with this. Hey, how about knock me out? And even win or lose, I still leave home with the biggest payout I've ever had in my fighting career. Now, Mike Tyson, on the other hand, he is a self-made man. He was already known. Yeah, he had, some troubles happen along his journey. He recovered from that. He's now a business owner with a successful podcast. I know he's big on the cannabis world. He is a full-on just entrepreneur. So he doesn't really need the money. But Mike Tyson has shown some training videos of him working out, and Mike Tyson's in crazy shape. For 57, he's shredded. His stamina's good, this and that and the other. Now is he in true boxing shape to fight a 27-year-old? I don't know. But is it going to be, for one, is it going to be a BS bout? Is this just going to kind of get everybody all excited and hyped up, or is this going to be kind of like the experience versus the unexperienced? Because Jake Paul has only fought technically 10 fights. I don't know how many has been sanctioned as pro, official fights, and has he really fought a true boxer in a sense? So again, is it going to be experience against the unexperienced? Is it going to be, hey, look, I'm just here to get a good pay raise, or is it going to be something somewhat of a, hey, I want to prove that I still got it? I'm talking about Mike Tyson because he's 57 years old. He really hasn't fought somebody in a minute, but I personally just think if Jake hits him the wrong way, hits Mike Tyson the wrong way, Mike gonna react because Mike crazy like that. Mike, you don't know what to expect from Mike Tyson. So it's like I'm back and forth. I know Stephen A. Smith has spoke on his show about this really shouldn't happen because of the age difference, because of the stamina, because of, hey, it's been so long since we actually had a true boxing fight. But we will see. Netflix has been, kudos to Netflix for even putting this on, because Netflix has been really stepping up their game with having live events, right? I think the first actual live event that they had was, oh lordy, was it it was a comedy show. It was a comedy show with it was a comedy show with Chris Rock. Chris Rock had a comedy special and it was on live, and they did like a little pre-show and everything, and it was dope. It was really, really good. So now you're seeing them with live boxing matches. This is their first one out of the many they're probably gonna be doing in the future. I know they signed a deal with the WWE, I believe, to basically the new home for WWE Raw. So it will be dope. Are they gonna start having pay-per-view events on Netflix? We will see. We will see. But I just had to start off the show by speaking on that because July 20th will be here before you know it. It will be an interesting an interesting spectacle, because that's what it really is at this point. It's a spectacle. A spectacle meaning that it's just going to garner a lot of eyes and get a lot of publicity and whatnot. It will be interesting. That's all I can say. It will be interesting. But at the end of the day, uh, you know, it's the Paul brothers. I'll just leave it at that. It's one half of the Paul brothers. I will leave it at that. Guys, what I'm gonna do a quick commercial break, and when we come back, I will discuss more about this this publicized layoff that a lot of people have been speaking about. So when we come back, we'll talk more about we'll talk about Rob Marciano being let go of ABC News. So y'all don't go anywhere, don't change that dial. We'll be back with more of the Arrington Gavin show. Alrighty, fam. What's up? What's up? Welcome back to the Arrington Gavin show. I want to speak about this firing, this publicized story about ABC News weatherman Rob Marciano. He's a meteorologist. He's been with them for, I believe, over a decade, and it kind of shocked me because if you are familiar with Good Morning America and ABC News, you already just assume that, oh, that man's job is safe, because he's always very giddy. He's always very happy. He's always very like the jokester amongst the friends in the group, right? And I know he serves as the weatherman or meteorologist for their weekend show, and Again, he's a meteorologist with ABC News. And honestly, a lot of people on ABC are usually safe. This is not, now this is no known story like what's his name? Was it TJ Holmes and Amy Roback or Robach, something like that. Because you remember that story when they both were having an affair. They were still legally with their spouses at the time, but they were having a long-standing affair, and they ended up getting fired because it was a conflict of the workplace, something like that, some blase stuff. But they're, they've recovered. They got a podcast, all that good stuff. Money's looking good, all that jazz. But I want to bring this up because Rob Marciano, as I mentioned earlier, seemed like a guy that just had his position saved. Like he was just, being just a normal jokester, funny. You don't see a lot of weather people of that are humorous, because it's like, okay, they strictly just talk about the weather and that's all the time they have, and then boom, move on to the next. But he became a persona. He made a brand of it. He became a character. So I'm gonna be reading this story. This is reported by the Independent. It says ABC News weatherman. It's titled ABC Weatherman Fired After Colleague Ginger Z, who is a regular. She has more higher up status than, I will say, Rob. Ginger Z is also a meteorologist. She is the regular meteorologist for Good Morning America, Monday through Friday. She's their weekday morning person. And colleague Ginger Z allegedly reported him screaming at a producer. Let me read a little more about this. Okay, he was fired from his role, I believe last week, after fellow meteorologist Ginger Z went to the network's bosses to report a screaming match he got into with a colleague. Now, the two sources told the Daily Beast that the heated screaming match between Marciano and a Good Morning America producer was the last straw for the weatherman, who had already had multiple clashes with the staff. Now, the insider said that though the incident did not involve Ginger Z, she heard about it and went to the bosses, who ultimately ousted Marciano. So it shows you right there what kind of, what kind of what's the word I'm looking for? What kind of respect, loyalty, what kind of seniority Ginger Z has. The incident did not appear to be a one-off. However, the New York Post reporting that the two meteorologists hadn't got on for years. Sources then told the paper that their relationship had been turbulent ever since he joined GMA in 2014. Really? So y'all just haven't been, y'all work in the same department. Like y'all work together. Y'all haven't been. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. And again, Ginger Z is the lead meteorologist. Let's see. It says here, okay, it's sad. Somebody quoted, it's sad because they are two people who are really into the science of the weather. Unfortunately, their personalities didn't work, the insider told the Post. Now, while the pair's shift did not often, I just spit all over my mic. My bad. My bad. The pair's shift did not often overlap. Obviously, like I mentioned before, Ginger Z is a GMA during the week, and then Marciano is recently on World News Tonight. That they rarely collaborated when they were asked to work together. Wow. So Marciano's 55 years old, was known to be anger quickly, sources say, and it is reported that the weather presenter had multiple clashes with staff, while also making some uncomfortable by oversharing details about his personal life. Okay, I'm not gonna read the rest, but okay, so I'm seeing right now behavior issues, anger issues, and sharing about his personal life. Does that now take that however you want to? The last time I checked, if he's been there since 2014, I'm obviously, he's will make, I mean, hopefully he made some friends that he could say, okay, look, you know I'm an open book. I don't hide anything. You guys, I'm been with you guys for 10 years, over 10 years, something like that. I can tell you guys anything. Now the question is, in the workplace, everything is so like everything is so strict in certain levels. Now don't get me wrong, because I am a businessman. um but I also, and I have a small business. We're a small group of people that work together, but we're all one big happy family. If we share personal stuff, okay, it's personal. It's personal stuff. This is your personal space. We want you to feel as comfortable as possible. I personally think all workplaces should feel like that. Just make it more comfortable and not so hesitant. Like, oh, you can't talk about that. Oh, I can't talk about that. Now they're not stating what his personal life stuff that he was talking about was. Could it be, hey, look, I was on a date with this hot son, such and such in the other night, and we so like went like, I mean, if a person says, "Ooh, too much information, I don't need to know about that," then you end it. But if they don't say anything, then okay, what's the what's the issue, right? Because he wouldn't know, and I'm just kind of I'm just speaking out my head right now, because it is difficult on what to say and what not to say in the workplace. Now, obviously, if you make a coworker feel extremely uncomfortable and they acknowledge that, then yes, you should obviously stop. Now there is such thing as abuse of power. There are people that have powerful positions that will speak to that level on somebody with a lower position and will, if they even think if the person lower than them thinks of either snitching or whatever and they threaten them affecting their job. I mean, that stuff happens, right? That's not just happening in the movies, TV shows, whatnot. Those are real life stuff. But as for the anger issues, because it's saying here that um he had dealt with a divorce while he was still working at GMA, and that even kind of strengthening his anger issues. It sounds like this is a man that's hurting. It sounds like um it definitely sound like he is, going through stuff because people with anger issues are not always bad people. I will say that it's you have to realize like anger issues is a form of mental health. And that's just and that's I'm that is my opinion. I don't I'll say this. I've been around people with anger issues, but again, they seek help to bring that stuff down and see what's the root of this cause, right? Um It also says, I mentioned before, he made people feel uncomfortable. There was a period where there were some issues and a number of alarming events. Uh, that I'm trying to see there, and they're not speaking on what were those alarming events. I'm not. I think again for someone that is very loud and abusive to another person or raising their voice, yeah, you got to step aside, sir. Now, it's not saying in this article that he has gone through a suspension before or there was, some a certain consequence that he had dealt with. Yes, they're showing all these strikes, but they're not saying, okay, look, we had him on a suspension. He got to work on himself and then he'll be back and, recover. No, they're not saying that. They just say, oh, we ain't got time for you. Boom, you got to go. Um, all I can, my final thoughts really on this story is do you have y'all ever dealt with someone in your workplace that had anger issues? Have you ever dealt with someone that says a little bit too much personal information where it's like, oh, okay, girl, no, you don't need to talk that. Like, have y'all dealt with people like that? And if so, how have y'all respond? How has the reaction been around the room? Is this a person that makes the office space feel extremely uncomfortable, or honestly, what happened to that individual? Are they still currently at this workplace, or did they get in trouble and they eventually left? Were they fired? I'm curious. Please leave a comment at the bottom of this because I know this story is fairly new. It will be more and more and more information to discuss about this story. Because again, you don't see a lot of weather people get fired. I'm just being honest. The weatherman? What? Like, geez, all you gotta do is tell the weather. All you gotta do is tell the weather. How can you get so pissed off at the weather? The weather's so unpredictable. You need to be mad at the weather and not be mad at the producers. But I digress. I digress. All right, fam. Moving on, moving on. Next story I want to bring up to you is uh do I want to bring on that one? Yeah, I'm bringing on that one. So RFK, 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 RFK hires a top GOP I literally just realized I just put he hires a top GOP. Okay, let me take that down. Meaning he hired a person that is very well known in the Republican Party to his campaign staff. Now, it was announced recently that RFK had hired a former top spokesperson for GOP candidate who has worked as a GOP spokesperson for candidates like Vivek Ramaswamy, Blake Masters, and Kelly Ward. Now, this is reported by I'm gonna read this article reported by NBC News. Obviously, NBC News is quite, a very left-leaning platform, so they can go a little, with the headlines, they can go a little overboard with the headlines. But hey, it could be some truth to it. I'm just reading this because it's like the first thing that came across the page. And let me go ahead and bring up that graphic for you guys so you can kind of read a little bit about it, or at least get a good sense of what I'm going to be discussing. As you see, there's a JFK Jr., current presidential candidate, running as an independent. He initially started running as a Democrat, but realized he was not getting the backing or really the support that he thought he would deserve, thought he deserved on the Democratic side. So he said, you know what, I'm tired of what they're doing. I'm tired of what they're standing for. I'm running as an independent. He didn't go to the Republican ticket. He said, no, I'm running as an independent. Now, in the political scene, guys, this is it's more of a reason why he did this. Right now, RFK is not liked by the Democratic Party on a national level. Most Democrats do not care for him because of him being somewhat of a conspiracy theorist, not somewhat conspiracy theorist with vaccines. There's a few things that he does not align with Democrats that are Democrats' top priority views. So they're like, we're not. He's a right wing such and such, or this and that and the other. He's been seen on all of the conservative media outlets, Newsmax, Fox, you name it, all the conservative podcasts. He's been up there. And honestly, to me, and I'm an independent, guys, I'm not married to any party. The way I saw it was like, okay, look, don't you want to get in front of all the eyes, regardless of party affiliation? You're just trying to get your platform, your message out there. So why is that too much of an issue? Are the left-leaning media outlets trying to contact him to get on? There's a network called News Nation that has had him up there multiple times. So it's always, a little bit of everything. But again, this article reported by NBC News is titled RFK hires GOP operative who called January 6th Democrat misdirection. Now, as I mentioned before, this man that he hired he hired the firm of a former top spokesperson for GOP candidates like Vivek Ramaswamy, who has openly endorsed Donald Trump. He's a part of the campaign trail with him, Tim Scott, so many others. Blake Masters, Kelly Ward. Now, to read a little more on this, okay, RFK Jr.'s presidential campaign has hired a former top spokesperson to a hard right Republican candidates who has called January 6th riot the U.S. Capitol a Democratic misdirection. Now, campaign finance records show that Kennedy's independent campaign first hired Zach Henry's firm Total of virality, virality. Okay, that's a tough word to say. Don't judge me. Okay, I need to read more books. For influencer engagement in March. 2 months after that, Republican Vivek Ramaswamy dropped out of the race for his party's presidential nomination. Now, Henry has been Ramaswamy's deputy of communication director. The J6, I think this is a quote that I'm about to read. It says, J6 was no MAGA insurrection, just more Democrat misdirection. He posted on X in March of 2023, seemingly embracing the conspiracy theory that riot was provoked by left-wing Antifa agitators, not Donald Trump supporters. Now, mentally reading myself for the I'm having traumatic J6 flashbacks from cringe congressional staffers tomorrow, Henry posted in 2022 ahead of an annual anti-abortion rights demonstration in Washington, D.C. Now, just over a week later, he called the House committee investigation into the attack and a witch hunt of patriots that must face a reckoning. The reason why I kind of chuckled there because I feel like I've heard Donald Trump say that so many times. A witch hunt of patriots that must face reckoning. Okay, it's a witch hunt. This whole thing is a witch hunt. Witch hunt. I'm having a bad case of say it not spray it right now as I'm doing this. um In other posts, he expressed oppositions to the vaccine mandates, which again I've mentioned. RFK is in favor. He called Alex Jones a national treasure, referring to the uh about the conspiracy broadcaster. Alex Jones is woo. That's a lot right there. That right there alone, I'll be like, okay, Robert, you sure? Robert, you sure it's a good hire? Because here's the thing: as an independent, the independent is supposed to be that third, and it's starting to garner up as the option for the people because a lot of people are leaning third party option. They're not happy with a whole rematch between Trump and Biden. They're not happy with the age. They're not happy with the values and the views that they both share. I mean, with that they both are campaigning for. Um, when I first heard about this hire, the only thing I could expect was like, okay, RFK is trying to, for one, he's trying to get on the ballot for one. He's trying to get really the attention and he's trying to get the conservative vote because as independent, you got to pull from both sides. And it's very hard because not a lot of donors lean third parties. Okay. Not a lot of donors support third party candidates. Now, his VP that he announced recently, um, she has been a Democratic donor for years. Okay, for years. She literally just became an independent like months ago. And let me try and Nicole Shannon. Yes, Nicole Shannon is her name. Um, she has always supported Democrats when it comes to elections. Like I said, she's been a top donor for Democrats. Now she's running, she's a part of his ticket as a VP. Um, Having this person, which RFK is a very sociable person. He's never been the guy to continue to bash back and forth. Like I mentioned before, he's been on all platforms, liberal media outlets, conservative, even like I said, even far right outlets. He's been on all of them. Now, it says here also Henry declined to comment while the Kennedy campaign did not respond to the request of the commitment. Kennedy's hire of Henry comes as he has had difficulties attracting experienced political operators from either major party to work for his independent campaign, which is very true because they're like, no, I'm not. It's when people are very very attached, very loyal to a party. Anything that looks like there's supporting something or someone outside that party, they're just like, no, they shut it down. They shut it down. I've seen a lot of that firsthand, on a local, state level. I have friends on all sides of the avenues, and people will be like, "Whoa, I can't. I either can talk with that person, I can't be seen with a picture with that person. I'm not gonna speak, even though if they just want a conversation." No, it's like it's so crazy on how this whole two-party BS goes. It's like it's berserk in my opinion. It really is because to me, I just feel like at the end of the day, you are here to be the servant of the people. People need help. Okay, cost of living is expensive. Anything you purchase, price goes up, interest rates go up. People are suffering. People want answers, but people are pissed when they see officials and leaders on a local, state, federal level just arguing back and forth. Like they're extremely tired of it. And that kind of is a segue to my final segment that I'll speak on in the show. I'll do another commercial break, but I'll speak on that a little later on. So really, in closing with this, I mentioned he had difficulties hiring people from either major party, so that means Democrat or Republicans, to work with his independent campaign. Now, Henry represents a rare defection from the world of professional politics to the outsider candidate, because really, Vivek Ramaswamy is not your average Republican candidate. Republicans was not a fan of Vivek Ramaswamy. Democrats sure as hell is not a fan of Vivek Ramaswamy. Vivek is kind of almost on that libertarian side of things. But I wouldn't consider him, you know, someone that is a traditional, affiliate candidate at the time when he was running. Um, and then the people, and the people Kennedy has been able to hire have created some recent headaches for his campaign by going off message, including on January 6th. So early this month, Kennedy's campaign disowned a fundraiser email that lamented how J6 activists were sitting in a Washington, D.C. jail cell stripped of the constitutional liberties. Kennedy's campaign said the email was sent in an error by a marketing contractor. So it looks like he's getting aggressive, man. You got to get aggressive when it comes to this campaign. We're getting closer and closer to November before you know it. I mean, we're currently in the month of May, but again, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, like, yo, that's 7 months right there. 7 months, less than 7 months, really. So it's a lot, a lot at stake, but we will see. We will see. I know Cornel West is still in the race. Jill Stein is still in the race. There's so many candidates that a lot of people don't even know that exist, that are still involved in the race. So it's interesting. It's interesting. I'm definitely gonna continue to stay in the loop with this. I'm gonna have some of my friends on that are involved on the political scene. I know a lot of people as far as analysts, pundits, commentators, consultants, right? Former candidates, former officials. I'll have them on the show to speak more about just kind of like the world of politics, because I feel as though that we all need to build up the knowledge when it comes to what's happening in our backyard, what's happening when it comes to politics, what happens when it comes to policymakers and things in that nature. It's very important that you stay informed, right? It's really important that you stay informed with that, and stay woke in a sense, right? Because I use woke as a way to stay informed. Some people, certain extremist groups can, kind of overuse the word and change up in a way that they want to. But I always look at it as like, look, if I'm asleep, what's the opposite of woke? Sleep. So if I'm sleep not knowing what's happening, then I'm not going to be informed. So you gotta be informed on these things. All right, guys, I'm gonna do another commercial break. When we come back, we're gonna have the final story of the show. So yeah, don't go anywhere. I will be back with more of the Arrington Gavin show.
Yeah. Nina. See. God. Gotta put on for my team. Put on for my team, yeah. Gotta put on for my team.
Get ready for the ultimate music competition that will leave you on the edge of your seat.
The full package, where the best of Virginia will battle it out to prove they have what it takes.
Hello, we're your host. I'm Nina Nicole.
And I'm LITS. In this thrilling competition, contestants will face electrifying challenges, testing their musical knowledge, skills, and creativity.
You have one shot to prove you're the full package.
Only the most exceptional performers will rise to the top and claim the title as the full package. Every note,
every move,
every beat counts. Who will have what it takes to become the ultimate music sensation and reign supreme as the full package?
Don't miss the full package, where dreams are made and legends are born. Tune in for the most thrilling music competition of the year.
Coming soon to your screens.
The full package.
This is great. I like the choice and the texture and everything.
Right.
Mind blowing.
I've never seen talent like this before.
You've got the full package.
Shout out to the full package, man. I had a opportunity to serve as a backstage host for this awesome music singing songwriting competition show that will be coming to a TV screen near you. Obviously it said coming, the commercial said coming fall of 2023. It's obviously not 2023, it's 2024. But we already finished the recording of the show. It's just certainly, it's in productions right now, getting all fixed up. Shout out to Hybrid Productions. They were the production crew that worked behind the scenes with that. Shout out to Nina Nicole, Michelle Young, my co-host on my weekly radio show. Just it was an awesome experience. So please, if you haven't yet, and I've mentioned it many times here on this program, go ahead and follow the Full Package Contest VA on Instagram. You can go online, the Full Package Contest, I believe, and just check out more information about it, man. It's dope. They have some amazing artists that you need to start following and support, and it's just dope. I can't wait until this comes out, and you're gonna love it. So closing up the show, I wanted to bring up this story about, let me go ahead and make sure it's all set in stone for you. Might need to let's see make sure I got this taken care of for you. All right, that's it. Okay, so Scott Galloway is a professor, and a very well-known professor, speaks on everything from the political scene. He's been on multiple outlets, very intelligent guy. He's also the co-host of Pivot podcast. He co-hosts along with Kara Swisher, both successful journalists, authors, and he was on recently on News Nation, speaking with Elizabeth Vargas, host of anchor of Elizabeth Vargas Reports. And the question came up of why young adults aren't proud to be American. And so I want to play this clip for you, and then I'll kind of give my thoughts on what he had to say. So stand by, my friend, stand by. Wait until that graphic comes up there. There we go. All right.
American, and yet only 18% of young adults feel the same way.
Look, there's a certain level of incendiary that's poured on every one of these issues, and I think that incendiary is a lack of opportunity in the United States for younger generations. For the first time in our history as a nation, a 30-year-old man or woman isn't doing as well as his or her parents were at 30. And this is in the face of unprecedented prosperity. And the incumbents will claim that it's globalization or network effects. No, it's not. We have affected purposeful transfer of wealth from young to old, whether it's the two largest tax deductions, mortgage interest, or capital gains. Who owns homes and stocks? Old people. Who rents and makes some money from current wages? Young people. Every year we transfer $1.5 trillion from young people to the wealthiest generation in history, seniors. Their housing costs have skyrocketed, education costs have skyrocketed, but their wages have stayed flat. They are correctly, Elizabeth, enraged when they see opportunity everywhere, and they're reminded 210 times a day via notifications on their phone that they're not doing as well as their peers or people above them. They're upset, and quite frankly, it's understandable and it's warranted.
There are some alarming statistics you point out that, like,
so let's go ahead and impact what they had just spoken about. So, when I saw this, I was like, wow, he makes some great points. Because people at the age of 30 or younger, or even slightly older, when they hear about when their grandparents was that age or when their parents were that age, it was like, wow, my journey is a bit different. I've put in the hard work like I was supposed to, yet I'm not getting it in return. You can look at it when it comes to when people graduate, right? There's been a lot of stories that has said people are leaning more to vocational schools because they have a more realistic outcome to how the process as far as making money growing that success, being in the field that I want to work in, rather than me going to a university, spending damn near almost 300 grand in education. I graduated with debt. I don't immediately work in the field that I need to because either I'm underqualified, so I need to go get an added education because they require a master's. Then, hell, they say, well, you know what? The master's now is starting to be considered a BA, a bachelor's. Now you got to get your doctorate. By the time I get all this education, I'm sucked up dry with all this debt. And now you're saying, oh, I'm too overqualified here, and then I'm still not qualified. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Then it turns out I'm not even the job that my 9 to 5 job is something that I never pictured even doing. Okay. This is not what I pursued in college. That's one. Two, I mentioned earlier, cost of living is expensive as hell. You have interest rates higher than a mug. You have interest rates on cars higher than a mug. You have groceries that are expensive. It's funny. A buddy of mine who's a comedian, he had a joke that he posted on Facebook saying, I remember at the time when I didn't go to Wegmans because groceries was too expensive. Now I realize every grocery store is expensive like Wegmans. And that's the truth. There's another, I'll speak on another one. There's a lot of stories that has been said that 30-year-olds, kids that have moved out their parents' house, living on their own, thinking they're going to live the American dream, they don't, and they have to now move back because they can't afford it. They can't afford it, so they got to move back in with their parents. It's unfortunate. Now, does stuff like that, if someone says, I'm not proud to be an American because of what's going on in my life right now, hey, look, I can't be mad at them. They make a valid point, but I think in general you're just mad at life. I mean, you're just mad at life, but it's unfortunate because, like, Scott Galloway was saying, if I'm somewhere else, I probably would have a different outcome as far as cost of living. Now, let's be honest. I personally, I'm proud to be an American. That's not saying I'm no patriot, like I'm proud to be. I'm no, far. I mean, like I said, I'm proud where I'm at. I'm proud of my upbringing. I'm proud to be, hey, a U.S. citizen. I'm proud to be an American because I know for sure if I go to other countries, trust and believe, there's a different outcome. There's countries that I can't say certain things, right? There's countries where, and I don't mean that in a subtle way, but I'm just saying, like, I might not be welcome to certain spots because of the complexion of my skin. I might not be welcome because I have tattoos on my arms. I might not be welcome because I'm rocking a beard. I might not be welcome because I happen to have friends of all walks of life. I have friends from the LGBTQ plus LGBTQIA plus community. But guess what? They're probably not welcome in this country because of what they stand for. I have friends from different religion bases, right? There's countries that don't allow that. You better have one religion, one religion only. I live in a world where, hey, yeah, I'm gonna criticize people in leadership because I don't like, say, a certain value or this and that. If you do that in other countries, best believe that's gonna be the last time you're gonna make that make a complaint or or share your frustration. I mean, trust and believe. Yes, America can do better. Our country can do better. We're not perfect by all means, but we're better than other countries. Now, I'm not going to go on a rant, but what Scott Galloway is insinuating is absolutely true because people are depressed. People are pissed off because this is not what they were originally sold on. This is what they were sold on initially was like, hey, look, you do this step-by-step process. You are all good to go. You are all good to go. But guess what? It's not working like that. Now everything sucks at this point. Like I mentioned before, stuff is expensive. People are wanting to move back with their parents because in order to save, that's what you have to do. I'm blessed to still, my wife and I, we're homeowners, right? We're under 30 years old. We are homeowners. I'm very blessed to be a homeowner. We can afford food on our table. We can afford nice clothes. We have privileged things, but guess what? It's not easy. We have to work our asses off to get that. And look, we budget cuts on do budget cuts, we realized that okay, we have to cut back on certain expenses because stuff is very, very high. I can't live that big ball of life that I thought I could, because when reality hits, I'm like, ooh, I got to check in the savings. I can't be happy hour. Okay, you got to hit them happy hours. But much more affordable, because like I said, restaurants be expensive. You ask for shrimp, it's an upcharge, and they give you about 4 measly shrimp that you'll finish in about 2 seconds. I'm like, wow, how much was that? No, not happening. Or I like to eat good too. I'm a hefty eater. I'm not no petite little foo style eater. I like to eat. So again, it's very pricey, but I just thought that was interesting because the whole dream that was originally sold for a young individual is not coming out to be reality. So I thought that was interesting. I really thought that was interesting, and I just wanted to share that with you all here on the program. Look, guys, I'm about to close up the show, but I again want to thank you all for continuing to support the Arrington Gavin show. You see it scrolling at the bottom. Be sure to tune into new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Okay, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Podcast version of this show will drop on all podcast platforms. 5 p.m. The video version of this podcast will drop on those same days, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, on our YouTube channel, R Smooth Club Media, Facebook at R Smooth Club Podcast. Let's see. Rumble, okay, Rumble at the Arrington Gavin show on Rumble, and also on X at R Smooth Club or RSC Media on X. And then you can tune into reruns of our show every Saturdays and Sundays at 7 p.m. on ESPTV on Facebook, ESPTV on Facebook, and Ernest Smith Productions online, ErnestSmithProductions.com. So you can watch it on your laptop or tablet, all that good stuff. Multiple ways you can tune into the show. What else? Oh, and yes, also Sundays I host a weekly radio show called In Your City on WNSB Hot 91.1 FM. I host that along with my good friends comedian Ciroc Fox, Hustle Queen Miss Michelle Young, and I always love to acknowledge our awesome production team, behind the scenes people, our producer Cam Godley, and also Mr. Alvin Hunter. Couldn't make that show, couldn't do it without them. You can tune into that show every Sundays at 12 p.m. again on WNSB Hot 91.1 FM. You can also download the app, WNSB app. It is free. So if you can't find us on your radio dial, no worries, you can do so from there. Until next time, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and close it up, but I truly appreciate it. Y'all be easy, stay blessed. I will see you next time here on the Arrington Gavin Show. Peace.